Welcome, dear friend, to Spiritual Healing Coach. I'm really glad you're here. This is a gentle, women-centered space for those moments when something inside you feels heavy, confusing, or quietly painful, and you've been told it's a spiritual problem or a failure of faith. Today, I want to share 5 signs that what you're experiencing isn't a spiritual deficit at all. It may be trauma your body learned while trying to survive. As we walk through these signs together, take a breath. You are not broken. You're not weak. Nothing about you needs fixing, only understanding and care. Sign number 5. Your body is always on high alert. One of the first signs this may be trauma, not demons, is that your body never seems to fully relax. You might feel tense for no clear reason. Your shoulders stay tight. Your jaw clenches without you noticing. Loud noises startle you. Conflict feels overwhelming, even when it's small. And no matter how much you pray, your nervous system doesn't seem to calm down. In many church spaces, this constant alertness gets misinterpreted as spiritual warfare. You're under attack, the enemy is trying to get in, or you need more faith. But what's often happening is much simpler and much kinder. Your body learned at some point that it wasn't safe to fully rest. Trauma trains the nervous system to stay watchful, not because you're weak, but because you survived something that required vigilance. When your body stays on guard, it's not a spiritual failure. It's a protective response. This is why reassurance alone doesn't always help. Trauma doesn't live in beliefs. It lives in the body. And your body may still be responding to old threats, old fear, old pressure to perform or obey. If this resonates, let me say this gently. Your body is not rebelling against God. It's asking for safety, and learning to listen to that signal can be the beginning of real healing. Not deliverance, but compassion. Sign number 4, you feel constant guilt or shame, even when you haven't done anything wrong. Another sign this may be trauma, not demons, is a deep, lingering sense of guilt or shame that follows you everywhere. You may replay conversations in your head, wondering what you did wrong. You apologize often. You feel responsible for other people's emotions. And even when life is calm, there's a quiet feeling that you're somehow failing God, others, or yourself. In many religious environments, this gets framed spiritually: conviction, pride, hidden sin, or a hardened heart. But trauma tells a different story. Shame is often learned in places where love was conditional. If you grew up needing to stay agreeable, compliant, or good to remain safe or accepted, your nervous system may have learned that mistakes equal danger. Over time, guilt becomes automatic, not because you're sinful, but because your body learned to scan constantly for disapproval. Trauma doesn't ask, "What did I do?" It asks, "Am I safe?" And when safety was unpredictable, shame becomes a survival strategy. If this resonates, please hear this clearly. Feeling guilt does not mean you are being corrected by God. Feeling shame does not mean you are spiritually compromised. It often means your heart learned to carry responsibility that was never yours. Healing begins when shame is met with gentleness, not judgment. Sign 3. Your emotional reactions feel too big for the situation. Another sign this may be trauma, not demons, is when your emotional reactions feel overwhelming or out of proportion to what's happening. A small comment can bring tears. A mild disagreement can feel devastating. Someone's disappointment can leave you spiraling for days. And afterward, you may feel embarrassed or ashamed, wondering why you reacted so strongly. In spiritual spaces, this is often labeled as being overly sensitive, emotionally unstable, or needing more self-control. Sometimes it's even framed as spiritual weakness or oppression. But trauma speaks a different language. When your nervous system has lived through chronic stress, criticism, or fear, it learns to respond quickly and intensely. Your reactions aren't about the present moment alone. They're echoes of past moments when your emotions weren't safe welcomed, or protected. Trauma collapses time. Your body doesn't always know the difference between then and now. So when something familiar touches an old wound, your system reacts as if the original threat has returned. This doesn't mean you're dramatic. It doesn't mean you lack faith. And it certainly doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means your emotions are trying to protect you the only way they learned how. If this resonates, let me offer you this reframe. Your feelings are not evidence of spiritual failure. They are signals asking for care, safety, and understanding. Sign number 2, you don't trust yourself to make decisions. Another sign this may be trauma, not demons, is a deep hesitation around your own choices. You may second-guess yourself constantly. Even small decisions feel heavy. You look to others for reassurance, permission, or confirmation that you're doing the right thing. And when something goes wrong, you blame yourself quickly and harshly. In many faith environments, this lack of self-trust is framed spiritually. Lean not on your own understanding. Your heart is deceitful, or don't trust your feelings. Over time, these messages can disconnect you from your inner wisdom. Trauma often develops in systems where obedience was valued more than discernment. If your safety, belonging, or approval depended on compliance, your nervous system may have learned that trusting yourself was dangerous. So instead, you learn to outsource your knowing to leaders, rules, or external authority. This isn't rebellion, it isn't pride, and it isn't spiritual confusion. It's what happens when your inner voice wasn't protected or honored. If this resonates, please hear this gently. Your intuition is not the enemy. Your discernment didn't disappear. It was buried for safety. Healing doesn't mean becoming impulsive or reckless. It means slowly learning that your inner wisdom can be trusted again. Sign number 1, you feel afraid of your own thoughts or feelings. The clearest sign this may be trauma, not demons, is fear of your own inner world. You may feel anxious when certain thoughts appear. You monitor your emotions closely. You worry that feeling anger, doubt, sadness, or desire means something is spiritually wrong with you. And instead of curiosity, your first response is fear. In many religious spaces, internal experiences are moralized. Thoughts become sins. Emotions become temptations. Questions become threats. Over time, you may learn to police your inner life rather than listen to it. But trauma thrives in environments where inner experiences are unsafe. If expressing certain emotions once led to correction, shame, or withdrawal of love, your nervous system learned to associate your inner world with danger. So fear steps in, not to punish you, but to protect you. This fear is not conviction. It is not spiritual attack. And it is not evidence that you are broken. It is a survival response shaped by past conditions. If this resonates, let me offer you this truth. Your thoughts are not enemies. Your emotions are not threats. Your inner world is not dangerous. Healing begins when you are allowed to be curious instead of afraid, when your body learns that it is safe to feel, to wonder, and to be human. Nothing about you needs to be cast out, only gently welcomed home. If this space has helped you feel seen, grounded, or less alone, you can support Spiritual Healing Coach at ko-fi.com, Spiritual Healing Coach. Your support helps keep this channel gentle, independent, and accessible for women who are healing at their own pace. Thank you for being here, and for helping this work reach others who need it.